just opening yourself to receive is going to be enough. You don't need to understand it all intellectually. Just open yourself to be receptive to the frequencies of love and light. The other thing it says you can say is, I now choose to receive through unconditional love the memories, the gifts, talents, awareness, and recollection of my stellar wisdom, recollection of my stellar wisdom that will assist me now on my path through my own free will and through the grace of divine love. So be it. So it's basically inviting us to open up to receive transmissions from these star beings. And the last part, there's an invocation. It says, I call upon the temple of lapis lazuli. I call upon the beings of love unconditionally. I call forth the awakening of my own inner eye. I call forth my wisdoms from my people of the sky. I call on the protection, peace, and wisdom within me. I now declare that I am here and I am free. And this is part of taking back our power, is realizing that we are free sovereign beings of love and light, and that we emit our own frequency. We choose this always. And if your choices are not benefiting you, it's time to start questioning that. It's time to start exploring an inner exploration of your own thought processes, your own thinking, your own belief systems. I did a show a while back called The Power of Belief Systems, and the power of our belief systems is amazing, because I could understand something and be very open and receptive to miracles, and I could experience these things. But if another being right near me believes there's nothing and there's no help, there's no support, believes that they deserve to be punished, then they're going to experience those things. And so we're not, remember I talked about holographic realities, we're not all experiencing the same holographic reality. We're all here kind of like flowing around each other vibrationally and observing each other and learning from each other. But some of us are emitting very low vibrational frequencies. We have very low expectations. We think terribly of ourselves. We hate ourselves. We're constantly in a sense of self-rejection and self-loathing, whether we're saying it out loud or we're just thinking it silently. And vibrationally, that is going to create a very different experience from a being who has done their inner work, and they buzz around in a vibrational frequency of self-love, and they love and accept themselves. They expect miracles. They welcome the miracles. They know they can co-create miracles and that they're one with Source. These beings will be like night and day. They will not resonate with each other, but we're all here playing this out together to wake up. I feel in my soul, in my heart and soul's truth, that we are all here to wake up and realign with our oneness and return to our divinity, which is always there. It's always present. It's always available. Each of you has a higher self, always there, present and available to you. But many of you have not been tuning in to higher self. You have been tuning outward to others who are telling you what to do, what to be. You're giving the control over your ship, your light body vehicle, aka your body. You're giving that to other people, doctors, teachers, parents, friends, neighbors, healers. You're giving it to others. So in essence, you want to really come back to self, and you can access these beings' help and assistance when it feels right, when it feels aligned, access that. But there's a difference between accessing an assistant, some assistance from a being that can help you, and being codependently attached to someone out of fear. And this can happen from your relationships, to your doctor, to your lawyer, to your friend, to your mother. It doesn't matter what the role and title, it's about the intention. Am I codependently seeking my good and my well-being and my love externally? Because if you are, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're a celebrity and you're seeking millions of people to love you because you deep down loathe yourself and don't think you're enough, It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you have 1 million fans and followers, or if you're just that person that's like really shy at school that, is in the hallway eating your lunch by yourself because you're kind of shy and you don't really believe you deserve friends. It's the same inner self-loathing that keeps you in a state of isolation, and it can manifest in many ways. But we can clear that through our belief systems. We can clear these old belief systems that tell us that we're not enough. We can clear these old belief systems of lack and limitation. Like if we believe that if we're not good people, we're going to go to hell, for example. At a level, we will create a sense of hell. We'll think we did something wrong. Now we have to punish ourselves. Or we believe someone else did something wrong, so they deserve to be punished. And we start to project this through our belief system. When in essence, it's all divinity. It is all happening. We're all creating according to our own alignment. And really, there's never a need for punishment and suffering. It is optional. But many of us are suffering, and we are creating a system of punishment for ourselves and others because of old belief systems that are really, ready to be looked at, addressed, understood, forgiven, and released. So I'm gonna pause for a moment and see if there's anybody talking.
Everybody's just listening.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to say anything.
I feel that today. I'm getting that vibe. It's okay. All right. So.
Never mind. Keep going.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, if anybody does want to comment, bring it on in. I'm open. But if not, I got plenty to share today, so it's all good. This is a book I have not read in years, and I can't even recall when he wrote this. I want to say it was like 2000. Let me see if I can see it really quick. It's Neil Donald Walsh. Well, it's saying it was copywritten in 1998, so maybe it's even older than I thought. But it's Conversations with God. And what's interesting is I've read these books years ago. Like, I think I read them in like 2001, 2002. And the other day I was sitting on the couch, and I was just kind of sitting there relaxing, and all of a sudden I looked ahead into my hallway, and one of my bookshelves, these books were just kind of like, oh, like calling to me, which is interesting because one of the pages I opened up to was very much connected to belief systems about our judicial system and about, justice and all of this from an aligned perspective. And on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, I actually am going to court to stand up and speak truth on the abuse that happened towards my son over a year ago. And so any of you listening, if you want to be sending love waves and light to myself, my son, Hunter, and this whole situation with his dad, that rehabilitation and that healing, and there will be, a focal point of consequence, meaning that it will lead this person to healing and to soul reflection. That is what I'm calling forth, because we are going to go and stand in our power. But one of the pages was about that, which is really cool because I'm about to go deal with all this. But the other one that I opened to is from book 3, from Conversations with God, by Neil Donald Walsh. And if you haven't read this book or heard of it, it's basically Neil has a question and he will be talking, and then he will type and then free write the consciousness coming in, which is his conversation with God, or AKA, I believe, his conversation with his highest self. And so this page is something that I feel is so significant to the topic today, which is focusing on a new earth and what each of us are here to do to create this new earth experience, how we are here to feel it into being, and we are here to visualize what that looks like and what it feels like, and vibrationally create and manifest a new earth from our focal point of where we're going, not our focal point of what's not working and our fear. We already know that part. Got it. So we're going to keep our focus on our wand waving over here towards the land of new earth and beauty and love and harmony and integrity, and whatever that means for you, because for some, a new earth might be hell and damnation and the world must end because they have belief systems that have been in place for so long that there needs to be some destruction in order for there to be something beautiful come. And there sometimes, might be this manifested, like the planet may very well have destruction. There might be times where there's earthquakes and volcanoes. They're happening right now. I've been feeling it in my body. I've been feeling the hits of this. My guides have been telling me there's more solar flares, there's more gamma rays and things that my beloved and I were like researching on all of this. When my stomach's like washing machine, we start looking at what's going on with the sun. And sure enough, there's a lot of solar flares and magnetic energy, solar winds. And so when this stuff happens, there is often a result and a reactive experience from the sun that is activating the earth, and there are more volcanoes. And right now we're in a very high alert for volcanoes and earthquakes because of what's going on with the sun. So it's all very connected. And so there will be times where there may be, natural disasters and events, but we also can call in that protection, and we can call in for guidance on what to do about these things. Instead of thinking the world's going to end, we can tune into, what can I do to help? How may I assist? How may I serve in raising the vibrational frequency of the planet, in anchoring in more light and love for the planet, for humanity, in calling in shields of protection for different places that I intuitively feel are in danger. We can be active guides of this and assistants of this, or we can just be afraid and talk about the fear and the doom and gloom. So that's the old paradigm, the world's going to end belief system stuff. And then the new earth, this is the dialogue with Neil and his higher self. He's kind of talking about that. So let's see, I'm going to just start at the top of the page. He said, the most significant way in which you may consciously apply your new understanding is to be the cause of your experience, not at the effect of it. So this is you owning your vibrational frequency. You emit a signal. You're not going to be responding and reacting to others. You're going to be the cause of your own experience. And know that you do not have to create the opposite of who you are in your personal space or personal experience in order to know and experience who you really are, who you choose to be. So when we're these highly evolved beings, we know what darkness is. We know what that is. We don't need to keep talking about shadow and keep staying in shadow. If we have suppressed shadow that we're not dealing with, yes, let's look into that. Let's own it, figure out where it comes from, what we need to forgive about it, and what we need to release, let it go, come back to our light, come back to our divinity. But we don't need to keep having destruction to know what peace feels like. We don't need to have hate to know what love feels like. We did for a time, many of us come into this earth plane to experience the contrast and the polarity because we wanted to understand it. But we're at a place now, we understand it. So now the intention and the intelligence would be to focus on the wholeness in the alignment. And then we can have a distant memory of these experiences. We hold the memories and the love of life experiences, but we don't need to hold the traumas and the cellular memory in a negative, destructive way, like post-traumatic stress way, where we're suppressing emotion. We want to be able to feel and remember that experience with truth and wisdom, but we don't need it to like haunt us and cause us suffering. I hope that makes sense to everybody and that's clear. So we're really being shifted to come out of this place where we think we have to continue having this polarity, and we can actually find a middle way and a balance, and we can integrate all that we've learned, all that we know, all that we understand, and we can move in the middle way where we are basically, it's like being in the eye of a storm. We don't need to get caught up in a storm anymore. We don't need to be in chaos and drama to know that it's there. We can come back to our center and we can experience bliss and love and wholeness no matter what others are choosing. And this is something each of us has the opportunity to shift into. So at the bottom, he's like, he put, now know that there are three basic wisdoms that run through the entire dialogue. And this is